Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Duck, Dog, and Villain voices, and you're watching Altered Geek.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 44. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
Dave, Joe, and Mike.
Yo.
Yo.
What be new with you?
This week has been really depressing on my end. I don't know what the deal is. I finally got set up with my new doctor's office and everything else at the end of May, beginning of this month. And they're basically telling me what I've known for the past 10 years. I just need to get up and, slowly go out each day and, do exercises and do this and do that to help me, lose some of the weight that I have. I've finally figured out. I haven't known. I've guesstimated my weight for the last 7 years or so. They weighed me. I'm 6'1" at 405, so... at least it's not as bad as I thought it was, because I originally told several people that I was 450, 460, so at least it's not as bad as I thought it was. But here's the problem. It's not getting up and doing the actual exercise, like going out. I live in a cul-de-sac, so going out and walking the horseshoe, that isn't the problem. The problem is going out and walking the horseshoe when it feels like it's 100 friggin' degrees outside. And even at like 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes here it feels like that. And it just, and see, that's the other thing. This is just my personal opinion. Spring and fall have essentially gone away. We have summer and winter year round. It goes from summer weather to winter weather immediately. That's just how I feel about it. But no, this week I've had a really crappy week because I've had massive headaches all day long. Doesn't matter how many headache pills or whatever kind of pills I can take, as I go along throughout the day, but it's still there. This has been a really, really weird and crappy health week for me. I've had no energy. I'm so glad the Pull Bags Batman month is over, because if it wasn't, the pull bag would be in such traction right now. I mean, I've still got the episodes coming out, and I'm still doing it, but this whole week I felt like doing absolutely nothing, and I have so much yet to do. I've got to watch 6 episodes of The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 for the next 2 episode records for Pixels in the Animation. I've got to write up several different reviews. I've got 1... possibly 2 interviews set up for us coming up in the next coming weeks here in June. One of them is Matt Hill, who was the suit actor for Raphael in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, but people will best know him as Captain N, the Game Master. So I reached out to his people. As of this recording, before we recorded, I had sent a message to, not a message, I commented on somebody's Facebook post on Facebook, Christian Lands. Christian Lands is a voice actor. Most people will know his voice as Sever, aka Fish Face from the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. He was showing off, basically saying that his voice, his real voice, is nothing like Zever at all. And he was showing off these various promos that he's done. He is the American Idol guy. And I said, I grabbed our main interviews link, and I said, hey, would love to eventually, one of these days, have you on Geekcast Radio Network for an interview. He said, sure, I'd love to. So Potentially have that coming up. What else is going on? Reading a whole bunch of comics. I am so far behind in my comics. I'll say this. I'm planning. I've got it in the back of my mind that I might be doing a pullback after dark another pullback after dark this month. On this one will be on print versus digital comics. Print, basically, it won't be a versus. It won't be a battle, but it'll be like, what is your preferred reading method of comics? Because in the beginning, I was all pretty much print only. Like, I didn't give a ratatouille about digital at all. And then I realized, oh, hey, Comixology.com. I can actually just do this on my computer. I don't need a $400 or $500 iDevice to read comics, because I didn't know. Because everybody always talks about app this and app that, and oh, there's an app for everything, and blah, blah, blah. I found that I can just read them on their website, so I signed up, and I've been reading comics digitally for at least, 6, 7, 8 months now. Absolutely, I almost love it more than getting the print issue. Now I know that kind of goes against what I've said in the past of I must have a physical copy in my hands, and in order to be able to really enjoy it. But the digital, with the guided view technology that Comixology has, it basically takes you panel by panel, like individual panel by panel, like basically like storyboarding. And it's absolutely amazing. For me, it's much more enjoyable to read them this way. Because for me, sometimes reading, it doesn't have to be a comic. It could be an actual novel, or it could be a web page or whatever else. I have a hard time sometimes reading stuff because of my eyes. And there are times in print comics where they'll do like an internal monologue on the top of one page, and then it'll, the next picture will be, a quote or a bubble, and I don't know, sometimes I have a hard time focusing. So with this guided view technology, I'm just absolutely loving it. So I'm thinking about doing that with the pull bag at some point. Transformers Animated. Complete series set from Shout Factory. Got that for review, got that up on the site for review, and talked with Brian Ward about that. Finally have all 42 episodes in one box set, and that's really what that set was all about for me. I wish there were a little bit more bonus features on it, but there are 3 new commentaries on the Transwarp 3-parter from Season 3, so I like that. Other than that, I've just kind of been... I think this week I have been more lazy than I ever have in the 34 years of me being on this planet, because I've just felt like doing nothing all week. I've been sitting here playing Mario 2. Or I'll sit here... Actually, this is going to be funny. You're going to laugh at this. Last night, I sat here at my computer, and I spent, I kid you not, 2 hours clicking the random button on geekcastradio.com.
Wow, you're dumb.
What?
Why would you click on something for 2 hours?
Because I was fascinated as what articles would pop up, and there's stuff on there that popped up that I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 years. And like I said, I've had
You're
an
easily
off week
entertained.
Well, yeah. Can't you tell?
Yeah. Anyways,
what have you been up to?
working
Yes.
long hours, 8 to 6, which to me is long because I used to work 7:30 to 4:30. So the job's not too bad. But yeah, I don't really want to go into too much detail. I'm out of work. I don't want to even think about it.
Yeah.
So
how's the house coming?
yeah, pretty good. Get a lot of stuff done. Got all the got the stairs fixed, the ones that go downstairs because they were separating.
Mm-hmm.
So those are fixed, so they're not going to creak anymore when we stand on them. Got both toilets replaced. Got bunch of their crap done. But it's been a chore. It's coming along little by little. Kind of can't wait for us to be totally done, but yeah. I'll have a nice before and after video and pictures and everything once we get more done.
Yeah.
But so I think we'll take a quick break and come back with some new media news.
Ah, brave new world that has such putzes in it. You know, kids, a lot has changed while your old Uncle Joker's been away. New Gotham, new rules, even a new Batman.
It isn't 65 years in the future, but Legends of the Dark Knight has gone beyond. Batman Beyond, that is.
Ah, the new boy. Ears are too long and I miss the cape, but not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Join Steve and Mike as they delve into the remaining episodes of the podcast, where they'll cover Batman Beyond, products, games, and more. Check it out only on GeekCastRadio.com.
And we're back. And so to start things off this week, I thought it'd be kind of cool to bring up the NASA's Real Life Enterprise.
Yeah, this thing is very interesting.
It's almost got the there's like this kind of an orbital Enterprise thing they had in Star Trek Mythos, which it shows. It's more so like it's a single warp device. It's after warp drive was invented and everything else, but it's got like this sphere around it, kind of like this does. However, the interior of it has more of like the Rebel starship inside. If you look at the way the engines are in the back, the four engines, the quad thing, and how it sticks out a little bit, it's almost like one of those Rebel ships, like what you see Leia in Star Wars. And it's kind of mixed with like almost the kind of the space shuttle nose to it, but it's mixed in a saucer section.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm kind of intrigued to see what they do with this. Just because it's a new, interesting concept. And they're saying that they think that they have created warp drive. However, I don't know how.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's kind of my thought on it, because you have to bend space-time, creating a warp bubble. Which, how are they going to do that without blowing the ship up? So, but
the image of it.
They think they've solved it, though. So, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see how they go about building it and how long it takes.
Yeah. Oh, it'll probably be like 2020, 2021 before it really takes off. But the image of it going through the two rings here on the page that you linked, it, you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Prepare for emergency separation. That's too dangerous. What other choice do we have? Because if you look at the front of it on that picture, it looks like it's split. It looks like the front, like horseshoe shaped saucer thing. It looks like it splits apart from the back.
And it very well may.
Yeah, it very well may.
So that means when the Hicks are drinking down south, they'll actually see a flying saucer.
Yes, exactly.
That would just be weird. People would be like, oh my god, I saw this flying saucer. And then, they will get squashed.
Yup.
Oh. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what they do with that. I'm hoping that they get more information on it soon, because I wouldn't mind seeing more of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So, jumping gears a little bit, they released the Dumb and Dumber 2 trailer, which I know kind of treads on MWire Weekly. I get it. But I like Jim Carrey almost as much as I like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see Dumb and Dumber 2.
I wish they would have updated them.
Updated how?
Harry and Lloyd look just like they looked back in 1993.
Well, they actually make a gag about it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer?
Yeah, no, yeah, I've seen the trailer.
Where he's sitting there kind of catatonic and
yes.
Harry meets Lloyd every year.
Yeah.
And then he has this 20-year gag going where he just doesn't say anything, and then finally he starts speaking. He's like, "Oh, you've got to get over her. That was 20 years ago about the Mary."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "I gotcha." And then he's like, "You've been doing that for 20 years?" I don't know. I just it feels like you never fell off that bike that they were, riding through the entire film.
Yeah, but then later in the trailer, when Lloyd starts going all goofy for Harry's daughter, that's where it's gonna probably drop off for me for humor, because it just ladies and gentlemen, I am not a fan of today's comedies. I'm not saying that I don't like Dumb and Dumber the original, and I might not like this one. The trailer did excite me a little bit to see these characters again. And I'm very optimistic about the film, but there are just certain comedic moments that I just can't handle from anything. So I'm hoping they don't go too creepy with the comedy in this.
It won't. It'll be stupid, trust me. Actually, it'll be kind of dumb.
And dumber, too.
Yeah, but I'm more enthusiastic about this than I am the shitfest that we got for the Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that is not that is not in continuity. That has nothing to do with the Farrelly brothers. So if the Farrelly brothers and Jeff and Jim didn't have anything to do with it, it doesn't count.
It's not in continuity.
Exactly.
So I did find that kind of interesting, actually. I'm real excited to see the movie, though.
Yeah.
So jumping gears a little bit again, they have Batman Arkham Knight has been delayed.
Yes.
Till 2015, which, in a sense, I'm kind of glad about, because I really am not going to have the money to buy the game this year.
You're right.
But on the other hand, you won't be able to get it for Black Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was really looking forward to driving the Batmobile.
Now, I did see the gameplay trailer for the Batmobile, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
I really think a lot of developers are taking the Grand Theft Auto approach, because the whole time I was watching the Batmobile gameplay, I'm like, oh my god, this is Grand Theft Auto Batman style, and it's friggin' awesome.
Well, yeah, you get to drive it around. You get to turn on the rocket.
Yep.
You get to, actually plow into stuff. You get to put turrets on the top and blow shit up. So it's like almost like Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah,
or Vigilante
absolutely.
8.
Yeah.
Except it's so much cooler because it's the Batmobile and he gets to blow stuff up and then he gets to rocket away.
Yep. I can only imagine once the game releases and they do a DLC skin pack for the Batmobile. Oh my god. I want 66, I want 89, I want 95, and I want Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond might be a stretch, but
They won't do Beyond because of the way it is, but they could at least do the animated series.
yeah. But yeah, no, delays really suck, but maybe they're delaying it because...
They're going to do it right.
Right, yeah. Maybe they're delaying it because something needs to be fixed or something needs to be improved upon, or who knows. When did Arkham Origins just came out last year, right?
Yeah, it came out in October.
Of 2013, right?
Yes.
So 2 years between games, that's about average. I mean, it's usually 2 or 3.
Well, it's going to come out in the first quarter of 2015.
Right, but it's still 2013 to 2015. That's still 2 years. Regardless if it's 2 years to the day.
Well, it came out in October, so it's still... It's like a year and a couple months, but
yeah. But who knows? But I did see the gameplay trailer and it looks amazing. I've been looking at a lot of the I don't really pay attention to a lot of the E3 stuff because I'm not a current gen gamer. But I've looked at several things. I'm impressed with Sunset Overdrive. And on the flip side, I'm kind of disappointed in Battlefield Hardline. Because it just doesn't look like what a Battlefield game should look like to me. Battlefield to me it's usually doing a spotlight on a certain war, whether it be Vietnam, whether it be World War II, whether it be whatever. And this is basically Battlefield doing a Grand Theft Auto. That's what it is, at least based on what I saw from the trailer. But let's see here. I guess since we're talking about Batman, this isn't in your script, but did you see the news article about DC's supposed plans?
yeah, I actually was going to bring that up next, so that it kind of worked out.
Oh, okay. Sorry, didn't want to steal your thunder, but just wanted to...
No, I'll let you go ahead and intro that one since you brought it up.
Yeah, I gotta... Well... damn it. Now I gotta find this stupid article. Oh, crap. Sorry.
I got it up.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Right.
So they're saying May 2016 is going to be Batman vs. Superman.
Mm-hmm.
July 2016 is going to be Shazam.
Yeah.
Christmas 2016 is going to be Sandman. May 2017 is going to be Justice League. July 2017 is going to be Wonder Woman. Christmas 2017 is going to be a Flash and Green Lantern team-up. Which means Hal Jordan will be in it.
Uh-huh.
May 2018 is going to be Man of Steel 2.
Okay, first thing I want to focus on. Flash and Green Lantern team up. I know I will not get this wish, but I'm going to just say this right now. I'm going to pull a U like you did in GCRN Wars Episode 4, Star Trek vs. Star Wars. I want them to team up Wally West with either Kilowog or Jon Stewart. Because, honestly, Wally West Flash and Jon Stewart, or Wally West Flash and Kilowog, are the best Green Lantern Flash team-up. I honestly do not give a crap about Hal Jordan. It doesn't matter what actor is in the role. So far, we've only seen one live-action Hal Jordan, and he was basically Van Wilder all over again, except for the green ring.
You're hating on him for a movie that was shit to start out with.
Anyway, the other problem I have with this schedule is in Man of Steel, the first Man of Steel, it's supposed to set up this whole new universe, or it's supposedly supposed to. There are things that happen to Superman in that film that need their own movie first. So putting Man of Steel 2 all the way to 2018 makes absolute zero sense to me.
I can see partially their delay with them doing Batman and Superman as the next one. Because it's still going to explore both of their stories. And it's like Batman's pre-established anyway. So instead of starting out and going, oh, Batman's parents died, he became Batman, blah, blah, blah. They're just skipping ahead. Because he's veteran Batman.
Yeah.
But they're basically using the Nolan-verse as canon behind him.
Mm-hmm.
But having Ben Affleck play the same character, essentially. I mean, it's going to be altered, but it's going to be essentially the same.
Yeah.
So you have that, and you have, Superman kind of coming at his own there. But unfortunately, that's where the story stops until 2017.
Yeah.
And then they do Justice League, and then you got to wait till 2018 for Man of Steel 2, which will be just a Superman story, which it wouldn't be such a big deal. And I understand them spacing out, so Superman's out every year, essentially, 2016, 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to have a guy play a young Clark Kent Superman,
Yeah.
it's kind of important to have him play it while he's still young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the Batman being older. I get, all the other, kind of characters in essence. But for one, I'm not a fan of the Man of Steel. I'm not a fan of Superman. Like, I don't mind the movies. I'll watch them. They aren't my favorite. But
I mean, I like them, but I liked Man of Steel more than the last effort we got. But here's the thing with Man of Steel: Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel 2. I think you need to because, as you said, Batman, if they're pulling on the coattails of Nolan's continuity, Batman's already established. You need to establish Superman. You need to see a film with him going through, the repercussions of his first film. So here's how I would do this. I would put... I know this isn't going to happen because I'm not in charge of Warner Brothers, but I would have them make Man of Steel 2 first. Put it at May of 2016. Put Batman vs. Superman like Christmas 2016. And then Justice League in May. And I don't know. I don't know where any of the other movies would fit in, but as far as like the Batman Superman stuff, I think Man of Steel 2 has to happen first. Batman versus Superman, because that'll set them up meeting, and then Justice League will set it up of them, forming the Justice League.
I see the way they're going with it, though. They're going to have Batman have to basically take matters into his own hands as, the leading superhero basically on the planet.
Yeah.
To kind of put Superman back in his place. Like, look, this is Earth. This is my planet. Quit screwing it up. Quit killing people. You do more disasters than Godzilla.
Oh my God! No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I saw a meme on it. I thought it was funny. So it said a giant friggin' lizard with flame breath does less damage than Superman does in Man of Steel.
Wow.
So you have that issue. So technically, he's having to deal with the repercussions in Batman vs Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But it's dealing with the repercussions without having to take away from giving him an actually good story.
Yeah.
Because if you had Batman vs Superman, like, just say for instance we took out Batman,
mm-hmm.
It would be like watching Green Lantern. Because of what they have planned out for Superman in that film. It would be like watching Green Lantern with with shitty writing. So Batman was kind of necessary for that film.
Uh-huh.
And then leading them into Justice League because they're building the Justice by the end of the film into the Justice League, and then they have to work together. And then it kind of makes sense to split them all off afterward to give them more room to grow. Because it'll kind of introduce them and like the Justice League film will at least help them launch the other characters without having them fail like Green Lantern did.
Right.
And I think they're not wanting to gamble with Green Lantern again, which is why they have him teamed up with Flash.
Yeah.
But I honestly think with Flash and Green Lantern, they should screw Green Lantern for once. Like, seriously. Just set him to the sideline, get John Stewart or something, or bring in freaking Arrow.
I knew you were going to say
Well, I mean, they've
that.
already established Flash and Green Arrow.
Yeah.
As same continuity, plus they're kind of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just makes more sense to have them to do that.
It makes more sense to you to have them do that. The reason why it does is because, as you just said, it's already in the continuity of the television shows. The problem is Green Arrow is normally the random 7th or 8th member of the Justice League, whereas Green Lantern, whether it be Hal, John, Kyle...
Oh, I know. Well, usually
you know,
Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, and Aquaman are the ones that are swapped out.
along with Green Arrow,
Well,
because Green Arrow was the 7th member in the DCAU Justice League.
But he was
Well,
swapped out in place
yeah.
of some of the
Yeah.
other ones sometimes. But the thing about having Flash is, if you're having it with Green Lantern, it's pretty much Hal Jordan. He doesn't really. I mean, yeah, if you count the Justice League TV series, he hung out with everybody, but he really didn't hang out with any of them. Jon Stewart was more of Batman's friend than anybody else's. Whereas Flash and Hal Jordan on all other continuities are buddies.
Yeah, but you got to figure out which Flash you're going to use. Are they going to use Barry Allen or are they going to use Wally West? If they use Barry Allen, you are correct. But if they use Wally West, there was 9 times out of 10 in the beginning of Justice League where it was John Jones. Wow, Jon Stewart and Flash. And there are times, because of how that show came out, that it was Batman and John. But for the most part, they were always teamed up together in that show. Like I said, it's just going to depend on what they do. I still don't think that it's fair to Superman to not give him his own sequel first and have him deal with what happened in the first film, and then bring in whatever other villain you want to bring in. And like I said, then do the team. I mean, I see what you're saying. You know, you're gonna have, you know, with Batman versus Superman, you're gonna have Batman come in, you know, smack him in the face a few times. It's like, hey, pull it together. This is what you got to do. And then they're going to go off and do Justice League. I honestly wish that they would, as much as I enjoyed Man of Steel, I honestly wish Warner Brothers and DC Comics would have just started with Justice League in the beginning and then just branched off from there with Batman and Superman films and blah, blah, blah. I'm hoping this new future for the DC film universe for Warner Brothers is going to be bright. I hope that these other, like Sandman and I really hope the Wonder Woman movie gets made, because over the last 35 years or so, we've had nothing but Batman and Superman films. Really, if you think about it, mainstream. Yes, sure, there was Green Lantern. Yes, sure, there was Jonah Hex. But no other mainstream DC hero has really had their big blockbuster budget movie.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think I would have preferred if they would have just started out with Justice League over going the other route. It would just make more sense. But again, you know, they opted for a different route. So, but I think we'll move on now.
Yes.
Do you see Disney is launching a new Lion King series?
Why?
That's kind of my thought. It's usually my thought that, you know, if something works, leave it alone. But apparently they think that it's fun to create a new show out of an old show, just like film does. So, but the animation kind of, just from the one shot that is out there, kind of looks like what we're used to in the original Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Lion Guard.
Yeah.
Which will be a TV movie to begin with, and then it'll go in. But it's supposed to be a young cub named Kion, son of Simba and Nala.
I already have a
but
problem
he's
with
Simba
this.
with a red mohawk and a paw print
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah. I already have a problem with this continuity, because if he's Simba and Nala's son, did the stork bring him after the stork brought them Kiara?
That movie is not in continuity.
Yes, it is. I don't care what you say. Yes, it is. Because Jason Marsden was the villain in that. Well, partly the villain in that.
He was Scar Jr.
He was better than Scar Jr. But anyway, this series is going to be on Disney Junior, so it's aiming towards kids. I very rarely, if ever, watch Disney Junior. As much as I love The Lion King, this doesn't seem like something that I would check out. It's not something that I don't dislike. I mean, I think it's interesting to... I don't know. I guess I've always had the opinion of, why do we need something new? Just show them the original movies. But at the same time, I get it. You know, you need something to hook the kids, especially if you have children that are out of school for 3 months during the summer.
Well,
in the morning, you know, you want to stick them in front of the TV and have them watch quality programming instead of a purple dinosaur.
Well, it's almost like they're trying to recreate the goodness of their, if you can consider that a word, greatness of their old 90s animation.
Yep.
Where they spun off of films that they made.
Yep.
Which not necessarily were all great, but they worked. So I think they're trying to go back to that a little bit, and it's supposed to include the original characters of, you know, Timon, Pumbaa, Rafiki, Zazu, Mufasa. Not really Mufasa, but the other ones.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Probably have him as a ghost. And then they're going to have Kion's older sister, Q. Yeah. It says, you know, obviously it's not the first attempt at a Lion King spinoff, because Timon and Pumbaa had one, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be interesting. I'm sure my son will watch it because he likes the Lion King, as does my wife. So I kind of look forward to seeing what that's like.
Walmart is getting their own Transformer.
Who?
Walmart is getting their own Transformer.
Why?
You have it in your show notes. This new futuristic... It looks like a cross between RoboCop and Classics Optimus Prime. This new futuristic delivery truck that Walmart has.
Oh, yeah, their new truck, yeah.
Oh, my God. It looks so much like that Classics Optimus Prime mold a little bit. The cab of it does.
Yeah, it actually looks kind of interesting, and I'll have it all in the show notes, of course, but
yeah,
it almost looks like a car for the bottom part of the front end.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what movie that looks like it's coming from. It's almost like a RoboCop-ish,
yeah,
like semi-front.
Yep, very much so.
I think it's kind of neat.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what Optimus Prime should look like when he's in the year 2500. But no, it's supposed to be like increase the fuel efficiency, and it's got, I guess, all kinds of new technology that's new for that stuff. But they've got a single driver's seat in the center of the vehicle instead of off to one side, because it's kind of narrow in the cab. And it's got, from what the pictures they show, it's got a pretty sweet system there with the electronic displays, and it's got like a bench in the back, and almost looks like a coffee maker type thing, and it's got like a opening up cabinet in the side of it where, you know, the shirts are and that kind of stuff. So kind of looks really neat.
Yeah, it does.
Which makes me wonder why they don't have more of that instead of more of the loud ass shit piles that are driving on the road now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of something different with the vehicle design. It's just super smooth and everything.
It's to quote Rekgar, it's a sleek, sexy import.
Yeah, it probably is imported, but I don't know. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you should probably bring up your Kingpin.
Oh, yeah. I was too busy looking through the 75 moments in Batman's history. But yes, Kingpin. Now, here's the thing, okay? Kingpin, I knew him as a Spider-Man villain in the Marvel Universe. I know he's a Marvel Universe-wide villain. He's not really regulated to Spider-Man. But I first noticed him on the Spider-Man 94 cartoon series. I enjoyed him there. And then the 2003 Daredevil came out, and they cast Michael Clark Duncan. May he rest in peace. It's always been my belief since Duncan, they couldn't find someone to bulk up enough to play. Like, they couldn't find someone to bulk up enough, or they couldn't find someone already big enough to play the role of the Kingpin. That has all changed. Vincent D'Onofrio. Most people will know him as Gomer Pyle from Full Metal Jacket, or Detective Robert Gorin from Law & Order Criminal Intent. He was also another superhero. He was Thor, God of Thunder, in 1987's Adventures in Babysitting. I will have to have you embed the video of that in the post so people can see it, because it's so hilarious seeing him in it like that. He is going to be the Kingpin for Marvel and Netflix's Daredevil series. I could not be more happy with this casting, because I think D'Onofrio can really pull it off. He's got the acting chops, and he has been known to sort of conform to a role and to fit a role, so he will change his appearance. He will gain or drop weight if he has to. And I think this is going to make that Daredevil series really, really well done. A really well done series. And I haven't even seen a trailer. I don't even think that they have a trailer for it at all, but I'm really interested to see what they do with him as Kingpin.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what they'll eventually do. I'm not too familiar. I mean, I'm familiar with Kingpin from Spider-Man, the animated series.
Right.
But beyond that, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Should we talk about... Did you have anything to bring up about the 75th or the 75 moments of Batman?
I'm just going to list it in the show notes because it's too many to sit there and count, and we've already talked Batman, so...
Yeah, that's true.
How
about Warner Brothers versus Amazon?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. Like,
I thought it was so hilarious.
I mean, you thought it was hilarious because they have the Lego Movie as the spawning point. But yeah, it says that they aren't taking pre-orders for the film.
Yeah. Well, Amazon removed their pre-orders for the Blu-ray and DVD.
And they did it for 300, Transcendence, Winter's Tale. But yeah, they are having some kind of a contract dispute.
Yep.
Which makes me wonder if more companies will follow suit in the future.
I'm not sure. I don't even know what's behind the contract dispute. Obviously, they're not going to disclose that. But I just found that absolutely hilarious. At least, people can still get it digitally. On iTunes or I don't know. I don't know if they'll allow it to be done digitally on Amazon if they're having a contract dispute with Warner Brothers. I just thought it was funny that people aren't going to be able to get the Lego Movie on DVD. So funny.
Yeah, but I just wonder if this could be the start of the downfall of Amazon. If they're blackballing a lot of stuff that Warner Brothers has.
Yeah, might. I don't know.
But I don't know. I think people may be reading a little bit too much into it so far, kind of like my comment that I just made. But,
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, it could be just these specific movies. I mean, it may not even be the entire WB lineup. So
Right.
And then we have Harrison Ford.
The Millennium Falcon broke him.
Well, I was making a joke at work when I was talking about it. I
Yeah.
said, because they have a picture of Harrison, like, wearing, like, it clearly looks Photoshopped, but it could very well not be. But it says it hurt his ankle on the set. And,
Yeah.
I started joking that he tripped on the entryway to the Millennium Falcon and pulled his ankle. And he says, "God damn it, you didn't put it back together right." They'll be like, "What do you mean? I was on this goddamn ship for 5 years and you couldn't get it right?" But, yeah, that was a gag I was throwing around. People were just laughing at work. I'm like, it wasn't that funny, but it's still kind of funny. And then of course the other thing that happened this week, you have Mark Hamill talking Star Wars at the Disney park, where he is the Joker and Luke.
Was so amazing.
And he was being interviewed by James Arnold Taylor,
Yeah.
who plays Obi-Wan and the Clone Wars. So that was kind of neat seeing him do that. Because he was answering as the Joker and acting like, he was Luke's dad, and it was funny. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that film's going to turn out. I'm kind of avoiding most spoilery type images or information, but like things like the only reason the injury grabbed me was because of the fact that I made a joke about it, and two, it had a picture of what Harrison Ford may look like in as old version of Han.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, for the most part, I don't care for the news because I'm not going to help fuel it. But at the same time, I think it's kind of interesting some of the stuff that's involved. That's not necessarily spoilery or trying to be spoilery or rumory. It's just kind of interesting factoids, kind of like JJ trying to get Simon Pegg in the film, so he can be in 2 Star shows, having a wars of sorts with his trek to space.
Oh God, can you imagine if it was Simon's Scotty?
Yeah,
Scotty
go,
jumps
Nutty,
jumps
the
to
damn
a galaxy.
Millennium Falcon is broken again.
Yeah, no, I'm so far out of movie news. I just want trailers, damn it. That's all I want. I want a teaser. And I know listeners are probably tired of me hearing me say this. I want a teaser for Batman, Superman. I want something, for these things at this point. I just don't care about news. I don't want to know a news story about the first. Here's what's going to be said in the first 5 minutes of the movie, or here's the description of what is going to happen in the first 5. Instead of putting up a news story, and I'm not saying this about sites specifically, but I'm saying this about the companies. Instead of sending websites a news story, giving the people a written version of the first 5 minutes of the film, why not just put out a first 5 minutes trailer of the damn film? So, yeah, as far as avoiding movie news, the only news I really pay attention to at this point is comic news. Some stuff I catch, some stuff I don't. But I just want to be able to see the movies at this point. That's really all I want.
So, essentially, that pretty much wraps up the news as far as that's concerned.
Yep.
So I think we'll get into a small bit of listener feedback before we kind of close it out this week. Doing a little bit shorter this week. I have some ideas for next week anyway. That can be hopefully fleshed out with a third chair. So I had a comment by Epicurious
Mm-hmm.
to me, saying that he was surprised to hear that I said Silicon Valley was boring. He says, I don't know if I'd categorized it as dry humor exactly, maybe quieter comedy at times, but there are some rather raunchy moments as well. The last episode of the season had one of the best dirty jokes I've heard in a long time, not to mention how smart it was. But there were a couple of different comments about that show, among other things, and it isn't that I really find it boring, it's that it just doesn't interest me. I'm not a huge fan of anything that's on HBO to begin with. So that's part of the problem. The other thing is, while I like techie, geeky type stuff, kind of dry humor, dark humor type stuff, never really grasps me. Like people that like The Office or people that like Community. I've watched some of Community. It's okay, but it's nothing I'd care to sit through. But I find that a lot of those type shows, I don't get into them, and it's not for the same reason that you don't get into them. Whereas you don't get into them because everybody's making a big deal about it. And then you say, well, I don't like this because I tried watching it and everybody's making a big deal out of it, and I don't see what the big deal is. So I go from a different stance because I try and watch it, and then there's nothing that grabs me whatsoever. Like I have no interest in whatever the topic is. Plus, like I said, I don't get into like the drier humor. So it in essence, it kind of bores me, but it's more so it's just not interesting. So I end up flipping the channel and finding something that does, which honestly, I find myself going back to a lot of stuff from the 90s because the 80s, 90s, and some of the 2000s are actually watchable. So it's just kind of one of those things for me.
Well, I'll tell you one summer series that I'm looking forward to, and it's actually made me go back and watch some of the reruns of its predecessor, and you know exactly what I'm going to say here in about 2 seconds.
Pretty sure I do, but I'm not sure.
I honestly cannot wait to see what happens in Girl Meets World.
That's a little bit different story.
Right.
But I kind of agree with you. I'm enticed to want to see that. Not because it's a kid's show, but because I watched the original and
it's some of the original characters, and it's Corey and Topanga at least it's them, and who knows?
There's been confirmation of a lot of older characters,
right?
Returning,
right?
At least for cameos.
What I like so much about them doing a sequel to Boy Meets World now is that you take the entire series of Boy Meets World, you take everything Corey has learned in those. I know you're going to correct me. It was 7 seasons, right? Hello?
Yeah, it was 7 seasons.
Okay. Take everything Corey learned in those 7 years and all of his evolution, as well as Topanga's, and bring it into the 21st century now, where they have their own kids, they have to teach their own kids. That's a really good way of doing a sequel television series. Is you're building upon the model for what has already come. Now, there is a few things that I think they are just doing to homage older stuff, like Farkle. Farkle, I don't think it's really said that Farkle is Fincus's son, but I think he probably is, or he's his uncle, or something or other.
Well, I know that the actor has been confirmed to return.
Okay, so then
it very well could be.
I don't mean Fincus. I mean, wasn't his name Minkus? I forget what his.
Yep.
Yeah. So shouldn't the kid's name be Markle, not Farkle? Anyway, so many of the Disney Channel original shows have gone off the air that I liked, and there are shows on there right now that I just don't care for. So I'm happy that Girl Meets World is finally happening, and it's Corey all grown up. He's teaching his kids, And the best line out of that trailer, she said, his daughter Riley says, "How long do I have to live in my father's world?" And he comes back to her and says, "Until you make it yours." And I just absolutely love that.
That's just good writing.
Absolutely. So, the other thing I do kind of want to bring up really quick, kind of before you close it out, is June 17th, Rizzoli and Isles returns for season 5, and I believe it's somewhere around the 25th, I think it's like the second or third episode of season 5, where I read a description that the team of cops that Angie Harmon's character is on, they say goodbye to a friend and a colleague. I believe that's the episode that they are going to write Lee Thompson Young out of the show, since he committed suicide last year in real life. But they, as of the end of season 4 of the show, they hadn't done anything with Frost. They hadn't done anything with his character. So that's something that, I know it's going to sound really weird for me to say this, but it's something I'm looking forward to see how they do it. To see if it's going to be completely off screen, because even after his death, there were episodes in season 4 shown with him in them. So it's how these TV shows are. They film in advance, and then they release the episodes X number of months later. So I don't know. That's something I'm looking forward to. Other than that, it's big year for us. We got a lot going on. We've already got 10 plus interviews this year, and the year's not even over yet. Usually by this time, we have like 5 interviews in 1 year for GCRN, and by the end of the year, we usually end up with 12 or 14. Not this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll shut up now.
I will say that we will cover net neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting until we get Mike Powers back on the show.
Absolutely.
Because I would like a more rounded conversation. So
yeah.
Because I do have some thoughts on it, but I'm also of the opinion that we're kind of screwed. Especially when you have the elements of you have Comcast digging their freaking hands and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good for us with the damn internet in general. So yeah, that's part of it too. But again, we'll cover that on the next one. He's here. Also, I'm not going to sit there and attack Comcast, even though they're pieces of shit. But yeah, cable companies in general are just crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get everybody's complaints about the scare tactics and all the companies more or less taking control of everything. I think people hate their cable company more now than they ever have, because they just don't give a damn. I'm still waiting on my bill to get adjusted, and it's been 2 weeks since I signed up, because they charged me for having 2 lines installed that weren't actually installed. I just had them checked to make sure they worked. Mm. And I'm paying for the linebacker thing, which is supposed to prevent being charged for crap like that, but they said it's exempt for the first visit. So essentially it's bullshit. And I signed up for this TV internet package that they sold me for I think it was like $39.99, and it was complete crap channels. and there was not really any benefits to it, so I downgraded to the $19.99 internet after arguing with them, but they still have me down as the other, even though the cable part doesn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah, they finally turned off my Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspot, which piggybacks off of your connection.
Oh, geez.
Which is why I was getting down as far as like 2 megabyte download speeds.
Mm-hmm.
I finally got that shut off like a day ago. But the new special that just came in the mail today, which again only is provided for new customers, which I am no longer because I've been with them 2 weeks. It's $49.99. You get the Xfinity TV, internet, and HD DVR for $49 for 12 months instead of the 6-month deals that I was fed for bullshit before. And it includes free HBO for 2 years, and you get the modem rental, and the speed is double what I'm getting now. Plus the channels are what I had in my original package at my old place. So it's complete horseshit. So I got to argue with them about that, and if they won't let me do it, I'll just cancel and go with AT&T or something. Because I'm still in my 30-day window of redemption.
Yeah. I've slowly been pondering if I should switch to satellite. Not that I have a problem too much with Time Warner, but as far as the cable television side goes, but I don't know. It's just one big nightmare, honestly, altogether. Let's see, what do we got coming up?
Well,
you and I are going to be... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of posted it on the interwebs earlier.
Yes.
I only got a reply.
Yes.
And it was from Jeremy. Because I asked,
Jeremy Fine,
what this year has been the greatest or biggest geek news / film / event that's been important to you? I'm having trouble narrowing it down myself. For one, I'd put the 5 years of GCRN, but that's, that's just personal. So, Jeremy says, for me, it's Arkham Knight being pushed back. I invested in a PS4 only to wait 2 more years for this crap. So, yeah, I kind of get that. I refuse to invest in another game console because of how quickly they're planning on doing the turnaround next time. Plus, I just got this one like 2 years ago, so I have no intention of upgrading. Mm-hmm. I'm going to dig through all the nice used games quality, and I'm going to get Arkham Knight for the PC because my machine is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So that's the question for next week. So we'll kind of go from there. And anything else before we close out?
No. Go check out Geekcast Radio episode 65, where Steve and I spend an hour and something talking about the evolution of the network. We kind of tease at some new stuff that's coming up over the next year or so, and other button-pushing elements of the network. Pullback's still going strong. I'm very much leaning away from the DC stuff right now. After this coming week I will be. Episodes I've got coming up are Rocky and Bullwinkle from IDW, some Turtles stuff, some Transformers stuff. There is a little bit of DC superhero stuff mixed in there because I need to go ahead and get it done so I can get it out of the way. Check out Tooncast and Tooncast Classic and Tooncast Beyond. With Tooncast Classic, if you check it out, please bear in mind that show is 5 years old. So in the beginning, we were very raw in 2009. I would suggest if you find your favorite episode before episode 50, great. If you listen to anything past episode 50 in Tooncast Classic, most of it is pretty good quality content. Good audio quality content, I should say. And Tooncast Beyond, as I've said before, this summer at some point we're doing the Animation Direction Spotlight, where we take a look at Golden Age animation directors, people like Walt Disney, take a look at their careers, what they've done over the years. People like Chuck Jones, Tex Avery, Friz Freleng. And this Christmas is, I know that's a ways away, but this Christmas is the first ever Tooncast Beyond 25 Days of Christmas. So that's pretty much what I've got going on.
Nice.
Yep.
So I think that about wraps that out for this week's show. So thank you, as always, for joining us here on Altered Geek Unlimited. You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback at geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on the website. You can get a hold of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can contact us at Twitter, either at Geekcast Radio or hashtag Altered Geek. My Twitter handle is at SCP21, and yours is, sir?
TF2 and Mike.
So, as always, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. See you next time.